I'm talking about that journey you went through, that you had to withdraw from the competition, the Miss Essay competition. How are you really?
So it has been a hectic one. I think I've been avoiding, talking about it because it is an emotional one for me. I just cried earlier because I was like, no, it's not a nice feeling because I think...
You can take a moment.
I think I need to get used to speaking about it.
You can take a moment.
Yeah, so it's just not a nice feeling at all. And I think I've been avoiding it a lot. And only now it's like starting to cloud me and it's affecting me. So it's something that I will work on as well and see a therapist, because I feel like I have been suppressing my emotions and everything, because what has happened, it wasn't like a minor thing. It was actually really major. And
that means you're not doing okay.
Yes. But I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
I hear the beat. It's in my chest. Got me feeling some kind of way. I confess the rhythm takes over. No.
These past few weeks had been filled with drama, anger, fights, and online competition. First, it started as an issue between one person and some cloud chasers. It later progressed to a full-blown hate and war between two countries, all because of a crown. If you like, argue with your ancestors. There was nothing African about Miss South Africa. It was just a competition organized by people who were Western cultured in an African soil and still ensured that the crown went to the Western woman. Period. If you watch their upload, you can't see anything that shows that this was an African contest. Anyway, it wasn't. Period. The worst was that some so-called foreign South African-based YouTubers tried to use the foreign imposed activities, paparazzi, and slow-motion content as a yardstick to measure an African activity. Those of you that watched that Miss South Africa upload will attest to what I'm talking about. What is African about that? And you have the impetus, the audacity to rub it on our face. For goodness sake, this is Africa. Show us the Africanness in you. All of you should go and sit down. The impetus that some of you foreigners have over issues in Africa is funny. Anyway, it is the self-kind hating individuals from a specific country whose mindset had been so brainwashed to a point that anything foreign is okay, but anything African would be questioned. Let's listen to the former Miss South African finalist, whose father was Ugandan.
I cried like a baby within this journey. And sure. Zozi actually gave me advice. There was a time we're filming. And I broke down. Literally broke down as they were about to say action. It was such a mess. And I went backstage and I was just literally like a baby. Crying. And then she came to me and she said, you know what? I understand why you're crying. I understand the journey you've been through. Mine is not the same. But I understand the feeling of not belonging or people not wanting you in a stage such as this. And she says you almost have to be a sacrificial lamb to say that, you know what, standing up for something does not mean it's easy in school. Where if I'm addressed, I'll speak in closer just to kind of show people that, look, I'm South African.
I'm one of you guys.
I'm one of you guys. I belong here. So I kind of very much denounced my Ugandan heritage from a young age, where I said, you know what, I'm going to be closer because this is easily accepted. If I'm Ugandan, I'm out in the cold. So let's just park that side and pretend to be one thing. So I did that for a couple of years growing up. And I think in 2008, especially when the xenophobic riots started, I was just like, okay, definitely not going to do this. And there was a time, and this is what was happening on Crown Chasers, we lived in Pretoria. And then I think my mom, I'm not really sure how the events happened, but I was 14 years old. And then my father gets arrested, right, in town. And we were very confused. What's going on? What do you mean my dad is arrested? My dad is he's a lecturer. What could he have done? He's just going about his business. And later on, we find out that no, he was arrested because he looked like those people. He looked like a criminal. That was the message. And my mother had to go kind of get him out of jail. And what they told her was that, oh no, we thought he was one of those. Literally, that was the explanation. And he was let go because my mother could go there as a South African woman and, get him out. And that really messed with my psyche so much, where it was so painful to see and so painful to watch, because your father's your hero, but to constantly watch him being discriminated against, spoken down to like as a child, just because he's different, really did a big number on me. And that's why right now I do not take lightly when someone says, oh no, you're South African. I'm like, no, I'm not South African. I'm South African and Ugandan. You need to call it twice. You need to call both of them, because that's who I am. I am Xhosa, very proud to be Xhosa, proud of my mother's heritage and what she's given to me, but equally as proud for my dad's, where I will never pick a side, so to speak. This is who I am. This is what I'm about. And I show up fully as myself. Yeah.
So this is Melissa Nyamuli, a former Miss South African finalist. Okay, she faced heavy backlash and xenophobic comments because her dad is Ugandan. Despite her mom being Xhosa, a typical South African, she powered through the pain and frustrations. Yet, many South Africans roared against her for daring to be half South African and half Ugandan. But these Olori Brukus and the Efulefus with Oboronketa ended up supporting a white woman to win the crown. And person wanted me say, these people, they alright. Error. Lie. They no get by for brain. You see, it's not about being a Nigerian. It's about being African. These people, nah. Well, let's not waste our time on that. Let's talk about this.
Chidimma Adetshina,
Yes.
you're Miss Universe Nigeria 2024. How does this make you feel?
I feel amazing. It is an honor to be wearing this sash. I am so excited and I am proud of myself as well.
So what went through your mind, at that moment you were standing on the stage and your name was called as the winner of the pageant?
So throughout the whole day, I was really anxious. I was so nervous. I couldn't focus. I felt like my head was all over the place. I cannot even think how I can explain how I feel, because it was a very powerful moment for me.
And it's really difficult to read this, to read your reaction.
Yeah.
What you were feeling.
Yes.
I was trying to guess what that was about.
Because I was so excited, because I was like, yay, I'm happy. And then I just had like this overwhelming feeling and I cried. And I know I'm an ugly crier, so I'm like, no, you can't cry, your makeup. And I just had to suck it up a little bit and just enjoy that moment as well.
If you notice, or if you have eyes, you would have noticed that her eyes are puffy, like someone who had cried for days. Even during the campaign, I watched the highlight. It was obvious that this young girl had been in an emotional turmoil. Let's go back to when she arrived in Nigeria. Yes, we all know she's slim. We know that, but she appeared to have leaned the more. Her eyes looked a bit puffy despite her laughter. Those who welcomed her also saw that. I really appreciate my people for the purest love and emotional backup that they gave to our own. If that girl had spent more days in that godforsaken toxic land, who knows the condition, the emotional condition she'll be battered with. That country should change their name. South Africa is a supposed regional name. There are countries in Southern Africa like Mozambique, Zimbabwe, Angola, Namibia, Malawi, Lesotho, Botswana, Swaziland in Southern Africa. For goodness sake, it is not fair. When we hear of Africa, we'll be thinking about xenophobia. It hurts that a so-called country in Africa could be this monstrous. They claim people come to take over their jobs. Is it not because you are lazy and greedy in your land? Beg. Your billionaires are investing in other people's countries and they are happy because these people allowed them to do businesses in peace of mind and brotherhood. Yet, these Efulefus are busy making life miserable for foreign-owned businesses in their land. I know it's not all, but majority of them.
Why did you decide to accept the invitation from the organizer to come, contest in this pageant. Why was it so important for you to be here?
Silverbird reached out to me and they saw that potential, and I didn't want to accept it at first because I felt like it was too soon, but then again, I've always wanted this and I am a goal-getter, so I felt like, you know what, maybe this is just a second chance, why not give it a try? And that's the reason why I actually accepted the invitation.
But there's a reaction that maybe things were a bit too easy for you. How do you respond to that?
I don't think it was easy. The girls here were very competitive. Like, they really showcased themselves really well. And I think there was not much of a difference. I do get the point. I do get where people are coming from. But at the end of the day, I also had my own journey. I had my fair share of actually going through the process. It might have been a slight difference, obviously, but then I feel like I also did, go through a journey that they went through as well.
I'm talking about that journey you went through, that you had to withdraw from the competition, the Miss Essay competition. How are you really?
So it has been a hectic one. I think I've been avoiding, talking about it because it is an emotional one for me. I just cried earlier because I was like, no, it's not a nice feeling, because I think
you can take a moment.
I think I need to get used to speaking about it.
You can take a moment.
Yeah, so it's just not a nice feeling at all. And I think I've been avoiding it a lot. And only now it's like starting to cloud me and it's affecting me. So it's something that I will work on as well and see a therapist, because I feel like I have been suppressing my emotions and everything, because what has happened, it wasn't like a minor thing. It was actually really major. And
that means you're not doing okay.
Yes. But I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
I'm really, really sorry you had to go through that. And, it all came to a climax with the Home Affairs Office releasing that preliminary investigation report that said that there is an allegation about your mom having committed fraud in the registration of your birth. How do you respond to that? You've never responded.
Yes, obviously I cannot respond to it because it is a legal matter, so I have to first gather all the facts around it before I can make any comments around it.
And has this changed anything for you? Everything you had to go through, how you see yourself, how you identify yourself. Has this changed anything for you?
I don't think this changes anything for me. I still see myself proudly South African. I still see myself proudly Nigerian. I think these are just the little barriers, that sort of divides us as well, which I feel like it shouldn't be the case at all, because it is necessary to be there and it shouldn't be a barrier, but it's just us needing to know when and how we need to, start accepting these differences and not actually making them a barrier to separate us.
Yes. Bring them. Where, not for person body. I really thank God for the end. These people won't break them. They nearly broke this young girl. I'm talking about 23 years old. 23 years old. As young as that is. Some of you decided to pour your venom. Whoever sat down to orchestrate this is indeed demonic. It's even difficult to feel okay if you are being dragged by your peers offline. Talk more of when they come online to be dragged, spited, body shamed, marriage shamed, family shamed on social media. The impetus that some wannabe human rights had online was laughable. Honestly speaking, South Africans, you really dealt a blow on yourself and you dragged yourself online. It's obvious that there were people who were the engine room. It was as if someone told her, I'm going to deal with you. I'm going to show you. And of course, they really did. They tried. But Nigerians are better off. Yes.
It all started because of my name. People were not happy that my name is Chidimma and I am
representing South Africa. So that is where it actually really started. And, you know, people felt like, well, South Africans felt like I wasn't South African enough because of my name. And it was really sad to see. It was a very horrible experience, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody, because I have lived there for 23 years. And it's heartbreaking to see that I wasn't welcomed and accepted. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you are welcome here.
But you're
we
welcome
love
here,
you.
and you're the queen.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah.
They always had a plan. They first started with their plan A. Oh, she was a mother. They failed. Then went to plan B. Oh, she was a divorcee. They failed. They went to plan C. Oh, how South African is she? She isn't South African enough. They dragged and they failed. Every week they will go back to the drawing board to establish another plan. They were always strategizing and re-strategizing, yet they failed.
Walking down the streets, feeling the breeze, in the sunshine state where dreams come with ease. Palm trees swaying with the ocean in view. This is the place where I always feel brand new. Sipping on a smoothie, chilling by the shore. Got my shades on, feeling like I can't be ignored. Sun-kissed skin, feeling so alive in the soft rap game. I strive to thrive. Waves crashing on the sand as I ride the vibe. Soft rap flowing, let the rhythm collide. I'm the king of this groove with the catchy hook. Got the ladies moving and the fellas shook.